So, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Sam from Team Xamax here, and today, guys, I'm coming at you with a brand new Blue Eyes Chaos Max deck profile for the February 2019 format. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. With the brand new release of Savage Strike, we get amazing cards, which help supports Blue Eyes, and I really think that this deck can actually compete in today's metagame, especially with some of the cards I'm going to showcase you guys in the deck profile. And at the same time, with the new ban list, it did weaken a lot of decks, so I believe that Blue Eyes Chaos Max has the potential to actually complete in today's metagame. So, as I progress to the deck profile, I'll explain to you guys some of my card choices and the reasons behind some of the cards I'm playing. If you guys want to see more new format deck profiles, make sure you guys go down there right now and smash that thumbs up button. That'll be absolutely amazing. And if you guys want to help support me and what I do, make sure you guys visit txx1.com to get the brand new Stardust Dragon versus Red Dragon Archfiend playmat today. This is the #1 most voted playmat of 2019. So if you guys haven't got your hands on one yet, make sure you guys check out txx1.com in the link in the description box below. To start off with the monsters you're going to play, of course, triple Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This card is obviously the heart and soul of the entire deck. The whole idea behind Chaos Max is that you just want to try to OTK your opponent as quickly as possible. And since the new ban list decks like Rongo and Gumblar are finally out of the picture, so you're actually able to play going second decks. So that's why I believe that Blue Eyes Chaos Max is just very effective in 2019, especially for this format right now. So obviously triple Blue Eyes Chaos Max. Basically your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent card effects. So basically against the Ultra Guys matchup, like auto win, because you know Silk can't target this card to bounce back to your hand, so they're basically forced to make Borlo Dragon. And at the same time, this card attacks a defensive to your monster, you inflict double piercing damage. So that's how you're actually able to put a significant amount of damage on the board using Blue Eyes Chaos Max secondary effects. So next off, you want to play, of course, triple Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. This card is your miniature version of Chaos Max. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, also cannot be destroyed by your opponent card effects, so it has an untargeting effect just like Chaos Max does. If this card is ritual summon using Blue Eyes White Dragon, when this card declares an attack, you can change the battle position of as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, the attack and defense of those monsters change becomes 0. For this turn, if this card attacks a defensive your monster, inflicts piercing battle damage to your opponent. So basically, this card combining itself with Chaos Max is like essentially game, because if your opponent have multiple monsters on the board, you can just easily just go a Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, attack one monster, change all your opponent's monsters to defense, and the defense will be 0, right? And then you just easily just swing with Blue Eyes Chaos Max for game. So if you're actually able to successfully get these two cards on the board at the same time, you're more likely just to win that duel. After your Blue Eyes stuff, you know, play, of course, the one Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Only one copy of this card, and to accompany Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon is obviously triple Blue Eyes White Dragon. You're playing the New Age Blue Eyes, so I gotta use New Age Blue Eyes. Next off, for your Ritual Searchers, you want to play, of course, triple Manju. You know, there's no need to further explain why Manju is good. It searches basically any of your ritual spell and also any of your ritual monster directly from your deck to your hand. So one of the best starter cards in your deck. You want to see this card in your opening hand as much as possible, obviously, because he's the one that actually gets all your combo plays going. Next off, for the brand new incantation monsters, I'm playing the brand new Incantation Chalice line. This card is really good in the deck. You can reveal this card in your hand, discard one card if you do special one incantation monster directly from your deck. Also, during the end phase, lose 2,500 life points if you do not special summon a ritual monster this turn after you resolve this card's effect. So basically, this card is essentially any incantation monster, which is really good. So times where you actually get this card in the field, and this card has an amazing ability to actually target one monster opponent controls and destroy it, which is really good. So double Chalice Slime is just really great, and I'll show you a really cool interaction that this card has with another incantation monster to actually help combat against today's metagame. So next, you're gonna play, of course, Incantation Candle, and all the incantations have the exact same effect, where you can either reveal a ritual spell or a ritual monster to basically get another incantation monster from the deck, and depending on the incantation monster you special summon, you can either add ritual spell or ritual monster from your graveyard to your hand, or either add ritual spell or ritual monster directly from your deck to your hand. So Candle, when it's special summon, you basically get to add a ritual spell card directly from your deck to your hand. Talismandra, when this card is special summon, you basically get to add a ritual monster directly from your deck to your hand, which is really good. So this one adds spells, this one adds monster. You know, the one Pensy Plume, this card targets a ritual spell in your graveyard, and you basically just add it to your hand, which is really good. So you can easily get access to advanced ritual art from your graveyard, which is really nice, so that way that you have a more likelier chances of actually putting double Chaos Max on the field, which can actually pose a huge threat for your opponent. So these cards are just really great. And last but not least, I want to play the one Incantation Bookstone. This card is really important for the flow. This card is really good. It's also really important in the deck. When this card is special summon, you basically get to target a ritual spell in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So this card adds the monster, and this card adds the spell. Like most of the time, okay, for example, the reason why Stone is like really important in 2019 is that this card is Spellcaster, and you guys all know that the majority of your entire deck is all spells. So and you can't ritual summon without using your spell cards, right? So if you're playing against the Ultra Guys matchup, right, if they have a spellcaster and you control no spellcaster, you basically can't activate any of your spells. So that means that you can't ritual summon into your Chaos Max. But Bookstone it's a spellcaster. So as long as you have a spellcaster on the field, you can activate spell cards. So what you do with this deck is that if you open up any of these cards right here, any of these cards in your opening hand, all you gotta do is find some way to actually get, you know, Incantation Bookstone to your side of the field. And once that happens, you can just freely activate your spell cards. So that's what you guys have to do to bypass against Secret Village or Spellcaster, because if they flip Secret Village or Spellcasters and you have no out, you automatically just lose the duel, right? So you can just go Incantation Chalice Line, reveal Chalice Line, discard one card, Special and Bookstone directly from the deck. And if you know your opponent has Protocol, don't even activate this card's effect. Just leave a Spellcaster on the field, so that way that you can just use your spell cards to get access into your Chaos map. After the spells, guys, you know what? I had to get them as soon as possible. Triple Pot of Indulgence, aka Pot of Extravagance. This card is insane. For the sole being that the deck does not require you to use an extra deck whatsoever. Desires was a risk because sometimes you banish too many blue eyes, sometimes you'll banish your ritual spells, sometimes you banish your chaos max, but no, that's not a problem anymore, which is essentially a free pot of greed for the deck. So you must play 3 copies of this card to maximize the consistency of this. And if you guys don't know what this card does, is that you basically at the start of your main phase, you banish 3 or 6 random cards, and then you draw 1 card for each 3 cards banished. So you'll be banishing 6 to draw 2 cards. So essentially a free pot of greed. And since you don't use your extra deck, this card is like the freest card. But for the rest of the turn, you basically can't resolve any other draw card effects. But that doesn't matter because your whole entire deck searches. Like all the other spell cards in your deck just search. So like you don't even need to play in trade in. So this is the only draw card that you actually need to use in your deck. If you guys cannot afford this, that's okay. I know that this card is really expensive right now, and so if you get, I know that this card is really expensive right now. And if you guys cannot get access to this card, just play trade in instead. Okay, trade in is still as good, but you obviously require to have a level 8 monster in your hand. But it's just an alternative from Pot of Extravagance. But if you have this card is probably the best card for a deck like Chaos Max. So Extravagance really broken in this deck, and the reason why Extravagance is just so good in this deck is that you basically aren't going to be using any draw cards. All the other cards in your deck are just search cards. So Triple Melody searches your Blue Eyes Chaos Max and basically searches any Blue Eyes monster directly from your deck to your hand. Triple Bingo Machine gets you access to Chaos Form and also searches your Chaos Max, which is really insane. So Triple Bingo Machine is definitely needed for Blue Eyes Chaos Max variants. 1000% off to your ritual spells. You want to play, of course, Triple Chaos Form. This card gets you access to your Chaos Max and Chaos Dragon, obviously, and Triple Advanced Ritual Art. ARA is just so beast, especially opening up, you know, ARA, Chaos Form, and like a Ritual monster with Incantation monster is just like utterly broken. Like, and then for the last ritual spell you're playing is the Incantation Inception. Card is actually really good as well because it gets access to your Incantation monster. If you guys don't know what this card effect is, that it's going to be used to ritual summon any ritual monster, so you can just use this card to ritual summon Chaos Max. Like, it's just another plus effect. You must also tribute Incantation monster from your hand or field whose total level equals or exceed the levels of ritual monster you ritual summon. If this card is in the graveyard, you can send 1 Incantation card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, except for Incantation Inception. Special summon 1 Incantation monster from your deck, then add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So you can always recycle this card from your graveyard to your hand, which is really insane. At the same time, gets you access to any Incantation monster directly from your deck, which is really good. So the 1 Inception is all you need. Your other search cards, obviously, is Triple Preparation of Rites. This card is really good as well. With Preparation of Rites, you're basically adding your resources from your graveyard and also from your deck to your hand. And obviously, Chaos Max and Chaos Dragons are level 8, so you can't add them directly from your deck to your hand. But the reason why Preparation of Rites is broken with this deck is because it searches your Chalice Line. Okay, so basically the deck has a Chalice Line searcher now, which is really good. And you guys all know that Chalice Line is essentially any Incantation monster. So you're playing Triple Preparation of Rites, you're basically playing more copies of each and every single Incantation monster in the deck, right? Which is really insane. So Preparation of Rites will be able to search this card directly from your deck to your hand, and depending on the Incantation monster that you special summon, you can basically gain their effects, either search a monster directly from your deck, or add a monster, or spell or add a spell directly from your graveyard to your hand, right? So these cards are really good, and Preparation of Rites also gets you access to your ritual spells from your graveyard to your hand, so that way that you can just use so that way that you can just easily use, so that way that you can easily reuse cards like Advanced Ritual Art and also Chaos Form to get you access into your second Chaos Max Dragon, which is really good. So Preparation of Rites is really good with the Chalice Line, in my opinion. The worst thing that can possibly happen when you're playing this deck, especially going second, is like facing against Triple Colossus. I decided to actually main deck Swords of Conceit and Like. All the other matchups that you have with this deck is like, it's easy. And the reason why this card is so good is because obviously you flip all the Thunder Dragon Colossus face down and you can easily search, and at the same time it puts Colossus in defense position, so that way that your Chaos Max can just deal more damage to your opponent, right? So Swords of Conceit Like is just really good. And you guys might argue, yeah, it's not good against Striker, it's not really good against Ultra Guys, why are you maining this card? This deck has a decent matchups against those decks already, but the worst possible thing is just like you just lose to Colossus, right? So Swords of Conceit Like just, immediately eliminates that. So at the same time, against rogue matchups, it puts your opponent monsters to face down defense position, okay? So that means that Chaos Max would just deal bare damage to your opponent. So can you imagine if you face against Ultra guys and they already have like Silk on the board, or they have Meluseek they summon, you just go Swords of Concealing Light, and then like they flip that Meluseek face down. Silk can't bounce back because it's face down, and then all you gotta do is just easily just Chaos Max over the face down defense position monster, and then you just win the duel from there on in. So I think Swords of Concealing Light is just really broken. Now off to your side deck, boys. Side deck is all up to personal preference, but I play Gold Spell. This is for Thunder Dragons, triple Twin Twisters. Like I hate losing to Floodgates like Rivalry or Warlords. Rivalry Warlords does hurt this deck, because if you go Incantation Monster and they flip Rivalry, like you can't Ritual Summon, which sucks. So Twin Twister is definitely needed. Triple Book of Eclipse. Again, you always want to go second with this deck because you're trying to OTK your opponent. So like Book of Eclipse against Thunder Dragons, like you win the duel, and you also have Swords of Concealing Light in the main as well. Triple Golden Match, because some decks makes you go first, so you can easily side this and just play Chaos Max Control, which is really good. Next off, get rid of more problems, double Gamma Seal, and also double Kamungus, the Sticky String Kaiju, to basically round off your side deck. Side deck is always up to personal preference. You guys can play whatever you guys want, but I think the most important card to definitely play is like Book of Eclipse 100%, because like you just don't want to lose to a Walking Floodgate, right? So off to your extra deck is literally irrelevant. It's just like, this is just like a random extra deck. Like these cards you don't even need to go into. Like if you're playing Cherries, you guys can just put in Cherries target. It doesn't really matter, but the reason why it's in here is because of Pot of Extravagance. So, and the only time that I actually XYZ is like basically just going to these package right here, you know what I mean, like with the number 90, and just climb up into these guys. But that rarely ever happens, like 1% of the time. But these are like the rank 8s are the ones that you're probably just gonna be going to the most. Like all the other links and XYZs are just completely irrelevant for this deck. So that's pretty much it for the deck profile, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your thoughts are about this deck in the comment section below. But yeah, man, let's talk about Extravagance real quick. Again, if you guys do not have access to Extravagance, you just basically just gotta play Trade-In instead, and I believe that that's the best option to play in substitution of this card. But other than that, I feel like this version that I showcased you guys is just the most solid version for Chaos Max, and I think it's just the most consistent to actually put out the most amount of like damage to your opponent, right? So Extravagance literally boosts out Chaos Max like it's nothing, okay? So yeah, man, obviously this card is more consistent than Trade-In, because you guys all know Trade-In, you need to discard a level 8 monster, but this card is like a pot of greed for this deck because you don't care about the extra deck whatsoever. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. That'll be absolutely amazing. And it's your boy Sam from Team Sam signing out. Thank you guys so much for watching. All right, guys, peace.
In the cheetah print, talk fresh game, I don't need a minute. R.I.P. the game, I need a minute. Okay, let's proceed with it. I'm in the house, got the deed with it. These bozos always sneak this and they taking shots. I'm a